close the trials down is obviously disappointing.
A bit of a COVID vaccine setback. One of the drugs in late-stage trials is now on pause. We'll tell you what happened and also what it means for one of the potential vaccines for COVID-19.
School COVID cases. More staff members test positive after a principal comes down with the virus. The steps being taken to keep everyone safe.
They call it maskne, how to prevent the skin outbreaks caused by wearing a mask. Plus, this is weird. There's been a surge of chipped teeth. We'll tell you what the pandemic has to do with all of this.
In Ohio, that there's not enough of is a focus on innovation.
Ohio obstacles. We talked to a nationally known doctor about what our state needs to change to get people back safely to work and school.
And should trick or treat be canceled? Some counties have already pulled the plug. We'll give you a chance to weigh in. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hi again, Northeast Ohio. Thanks for choosing What's New. Happy Hump Day, or as we like to say, halfway to Friday. Yes. We are there now. I hope your Wednesday's been a good one so far with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Hi, Bets.
Hi. Happy Wednesday to
and
you.
To you.
It's a short week, but boy, a lot of folks are still getting stuff done out and about around the houses. It's been kind of murky and humid today. We do have some brighter skies on the horizon, though. Jason will have an update on our forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Yeah, it was humid indeed. Betsy, we begin today at 5 with a bit of a setback in the race for a coronavirus vaccine. AstraZeneca put its phase 3 trials on hold after a patient in the UK became ill. We still don't know yet if the illness was related to the vaccine, but out of an abundance of caution, the trial has been paused for the time being. Such a move, I'm told, is not unusual. What does it all mean? Let's bring in senior health correspondent Monica Robbins to clear all this up. Hello again, Monica. How are you?
Hey, Jay, how are you? Well, according to the New York Times, the patient developed transverse myelitis. AstraZeneca has not confirmed this, but that illness, while rare, is related to a number of viruses and bacterial infections. It's essentially inflammation of the spinal cord. Now, we don't know if the patient even received the actual vaccine or a placebo, but anytime there's an unexplained illness of a patient in a clinical trial, pausing the trial would be standard procedure. So an independent review panel is taking a look at this situation, but we don't know how long that investigation is going to last. Now, this does not mean an end to the trial. Thousands of people all over the world have received the AstraZeneca vaccine already, and the trial will likely resume after the investigation is completed. Now, what is unusual is the fact that we're all keeping such a sharp eye on these vaccine trials because of how fast they're being developed.
Well, they say it's not unusual for a trial to be put on hold if there's any clinical event that needs to be investigated. Of course, there's a lot more attention being paid to this because instead of having trials going on for years, we're trying to rush something through very rapidly. I mean, when you are giving something, whether it's a vaccine or a drug or something to people, a large number of people, bad things can happen. And it might be from the vaccine or the intervention, or it might be something that would have happened anyway.
Now, Dr. Orient is the head of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons. She brought up another interesting point when we were chatting. If there is a problem with any of these vaccines, there's little recourse the public can take. In April, remember, there was an amendment made to the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act that authorized the Secretary of Health and Human Services to issue a declaration to provide liability immunity to pharmaceutical companies who make medical treatments for COVID, unless it can be proven that there was willful misconduct, Jay.
Right, very interesting. So, Monica, we know that this isn't the end for the AstraZeneca or the Oxford trial. What about the other potential vaccines? How many are there? Where are they in the trials?
Well, there's about 120 vaccines all over the world being developed. Now, here locally, Moderna is in phase 3. That's being recruiting patients at Velocity Clinical Research in Beechwood. And also the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which is being tested at UH, is also in phase 3. And the AstraZeneca vaccine will be eventually recruiting patients again in Columbus and Cincinnati. And all, like I said, we may have about maybe up to 7 alone in the States. But again, there are dozens being developed all around the world right now.
All right. Very great information. It's days like these, Monica, that we're so thankful we have you here to clear all of this up and make sense of it all. Monica, thanks. We'll see you soon.
Sure.
Now, on to our feed at 5, and we start there with the daily coronavirus numbers. We had 973 new cases reported today. That is an increase of 317 from yesterday's number, but it is also well below our 21-day average. And taking a quick look at our other main data points, our positivity rate still remains at the low end for the entire duration of the pandemic. We're at 3.3% today. Hospitalizations up slightly. There are now 700 COVID-19 patients statewide. Deaths also up slightly from yesterday, up to 26 reported today. Betsy?
Well, new today, the Mentor School District will be going online for the next 2 weeks. This comes after 4 confirmed COVID-19 cases at one of the elementary schools. The principal and 3 other teachers at Hopkins Elementary have all tested positive. 3 News spoke with the Lake County Health Department today, and get this, they say there's a good chance we could see more cases confirmed within the next week.
There's a chance you're going to have multiple people in these different classes that potentially could be, or if there's a teacher meeting or anything along those lines, there's the potential to really, you have a lot of people in a building and there's a lot of contacts that can happen.
Well, the health department is taking more action today, working with the school system to figure out if this is indeed a larger scale outbreak than the current 4 confirmed cases. Romney Smith is following this story and will have an in-depth report tonight at 6 on what matters most. And Jay, as soon as we started back into this back to school conversation, the first thing that we talked about is we know there will be cases that come. So now it's just trying to mitigate once those cases actually come out.
And that's the key right there, is putting your finger on where a potential hotspot might be and quickly shutting that down. We know from conducting 90 million tests nationally that there is going to be a certain percentage of those that test positive. And what we've seen is when you move into subsets of society, you tend to get that same 3 to 7% positivity rate for any subset of the population. So yeah, you made a very good point. Not unexpected. We knew that there would indeed be cases. It's how they deal with these cases that makes the difference.
And just a couple weeks ago, the governor mandated that the schools have to notify parents when there are positive cases. So I'm sure there's going to be some more of that happening. I know in a couple different school districts, numbers of children went home sick with any number of kind of illnesses. We can't say necessarily it's exactly that, but it seems like there's a possibility we're going to be hearing about this more.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. Betsy, we have a couple of big headlines affecting the Summer Olympics, postponed, of course, in 2020, delayed until next year. First, Japan's Olympic minister is raising eyebrows, saying that the Tokyo Games must be held, quote, at any cost, end quote. The reason, she says, it's for the sake of the athletes. This isn't the first time we've heard this kind of language from Tokyo organizers. We heard this kind of talk back in July from the CEO of the Olympic Games. And the other headline, increasing concerns that coronavirus won't be the only threat to the Games. So too could extreme heat. An advisor to the Tokyo Olympics Organizing Committee says searing summer heat in Tokyo next year could make the Games a, quote, nightmare. Ironically, the city has had a pretty mild summer this year. Historically, though, July temperatures in Tokyo tend to be in the upper 80s with high humidity. And Betsy, I can't wait to get your reaction to this because, as I've learned from spending time around you, anyone who tries to long-range forecast, and over a year or almost a year is certainly long range, I think that gets a bit dicey. I mean, we've known forever what the summer conditions are in Tokyo.
Right.
We knew this was a chance. Why the sky is falling comment now?
I don't know. And, you're trying to nail down a seasonal forecast to a 2-week period or a 3-week period. Yeah. And I mean, we're having trouble nailing down 72 hours from now, people. So let's just kind of keep it all in context here. We know it's going to be hot. We know it's going to be humid in Tokyo for the Summer Olympics. That's pretty much standard fare. But the whole seasonal forecasting and making, bets on seasonal forecasting is a conversation that sits just below my favorite topics from the farmers Farmer's Almanac.
You know, I almost brought up the Farmer's Almanac, but I didn't want to see your blood pressure rise on TV, so I didn't go there. Yeah, it seems absurd to me that you would try to long-range forecast.
And they
it
may
could
have
be,
searing
yes.
heat. It could, right?
But will it? We'll wait and see.
May not. You never know. All right, well, let's check in now with Russ for some of the other big stories that we're following today. Good afternoon, Russ.
Do I dare mention Punxsutawney Phil right now as well? In that category?
That would be right under the seasonal. I have a whole hierarchy of do not talk topics.
All right.
Yeah.
Live and learn, Jay.
Yeah, I learned that from you, Russ.
You
told me one day when she wasn't around, don't mention the Farmer's Almanac.
Good afternoon, folks, and good afternoon to you at home. 2 of the 3 teens charged in the shooting death of Cleveland Police Detective James Skirnovitz and an informant made their first court appearance today. 18-year-old David McDaniel is charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. His bond set at $3 million. 15-year-old also faced a judge in juvenile court. He turned himself in yesterday. And we learned today that Detective Skirnovitz's funeral will now be held at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on Friday morning at 10. It is being moved from St. John's Cathedral to have a larger space for social distancing. Visiting hours for the detective will be at the A. Rapepi & Sons Funeral Home in Middleburg Heights. That's tomorrow from 2 until 8. And Zoom founder Eric Yuan is now one of the richest people in America. Forbes has put him at number 43. Thanks to the Zoom boom, the company's stock is up 300%, and Yuan's wealth is now estimated at $11 billion. Betsy, that's $11 billion. With
You've
a
got to
B.
think that back in September, this guy is sitting in meetings going, I swear, it's going to take off. This is going to be a great thing. Someday it's going to be awesome. And little did he know within a matter of 4 months, it would become the lifeline of business in America and the world.
And you got to wonder what happened to those services that we've known about for years, like Skype. Why didn't they take off like this? So it's an interesting book at some point.
It is. Oh, thanks, Russ. We appreciate that. We'll see you in a little bit.
See ya.
Well, here's one of the stranger effects of COVID-19, apparently. There's been a jump in cases of people with cracked teeth. Seriously, the New York Times even did a story about it this week. Dental experts say it's because of increased stress. More and more people are clenching and grinding their teeth, and apparently our teeth are already pretty brittle and have little bitty cracks from everyday use. Well, that's all it takes, just a little extra pressure to make those cracks a little bit larger for some folks.
So I read it, and the dentist in the piece said he has seen more cracked and chipped teeth in the last 6 days than he typically sees in a 6-week stretch. And a light bulb went off, Betsy.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, sitting at home with my wife, who is a notorious teeth grinder in her sleep. She wears a mouthpiece. She forgot the mouthpiece one day a couple of weeks ago, and she said, just a couple of days ago, I have a sore tooth in the back. And then reading this piece, the light went off. I bet she has cracked the tooth because from the one night she forgot to wear her mouth guard. And I don't know if you know anybody that is a teeth grinder. It is a horrific sound. It sounds like 2 pieces of wood being ground together. It gives you shivers when you hear it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. Another thing that we can blame on COVID.
My dentist said I should wear one of those mouth guard things because apparently I'm clenching.
Are you a clencher too?
I didn't know I was.
Right.
Apparently I am.
Yeah.
Apparently it's getting a little bit worse.
I would take his advice. I would do it because they can chip and they can crack. Okay, next for us. Yeah, it's another byproduct of COVID, maskne. It's one of those COVID-era phrases that we've all become familiar with. It's the skin rash popping up from constantly having a mask rubbing against our faces. We're going to tell you how to make it better. And Baker's back, and he says he's better than ever. His predictions about what some are calling a make-or-break season.
And later, Jason has a handle of the forecast today. What's up, Jason?
Hey there, Betsy. Well, we saw a little bit more cloud cover than we had initially thought today, but overall it was a very warm day, but we got a change that's going to be coming up. We're talking about cooler temperatures. I'll let you know how low it's going to go after the break. Okay, who am I tossing back to? Jed. Okay, thanks.
Welcome back to What's News. We have some breaking news to tell you about. Embattled retailer JCPenney narrowly avoided liquidation today with the news that it will be sold off. Mall owners Simon Property Group and Brookfield Property Partners struck a deal with a group of bankruptcy lenders to rescue the company. JCPenney filed for Chapter 11 protection back in May after coronavirus store closures. Simon Property Group is the largest owner of mall properties in America. They own Summit Mall and Fairlawn, as well as the Aurora Farms Outlet Mall.
All right, I know we've talked about it before, and you've probably seen it on your social media feeds, but grown-ups are saying they have to deal with breakouts on their faces like they were still in their teens. Guess what? It's a real thing, and it's probably a side effect from wearing masks. Masks have now become our most worn accessory when we're out and about, but some of the acne issues are because, like many people not wearing a mask correctly, people aren't taking care of their masks correctly either.
For the cloth mask, daily washing is really important. Take it home, wash it. If it's a surgical mask or like a medical grade mask, changing it out as frequently as possible.
Okay, so I need to do some washing because I have one mask in my car and I wear it every single day. And guess what? I don't think I've washed it in over a week. That's disgusting. I shouldn't admit that. But
it's time.
Just because many of us are working from home, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't get lax in your hygiene. Still be diligent about your skincare routine. And yes, stress can be a factor too. Don't be afraid to give yourself a break and find outlets for that stress. I admit, the mask-me thing is legit. And
so you've had it?
Yeah, I do. It's awful. And as soon as I'm reading this story before the show, I was like, come on, Betsy, use your head. Like, it's the most common sense thing. And it's just one of those like, oh, I'll just grab a mask, throw it in my car. I have to wear it in the building. I have to wear it to my desk. I have to wear it around the building, back to my car. And then I forget to take it inside at home.
You know what gets me? I'm irritated at the top of my ear from where the elastic is constantly pulling on it.
Right.
And after about 30 minutes of having the mask on, it's driving me nuts.
I like this look myself. I have the look like I wear my mask and my ears stick out. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a new way of doing things.
What are you going to do?
Right?
Sign of the times.
Well, I'll tell you what, it has been warm and it's tough to wear those masks when it's this humid outside. We do have some cooler weather that's coming in. Jason Fraser handling the weather duties for us. There it is. Look, he even has a weather mask, friends. You got to tell everybody about this.
Hello, friends. What do you think?
Clouds.
What do you think about this? Of course, because, we are weather people, so, we have to have specialty masks. And my favorite one that I just got in the mail actually says, I look at clouds and no thanks. So there you go, friends. What do you
Betsy,
think?
you need
what
that
do you
too.
think? You like it? You like it, Jay?
I
and Betsy?
love it. It's awesome.
It's great.
Bye, Jason. Did you get that on Amazon?
All right. Yeah, no, I got it actually on Etsy. So
Even better,
Romney
small
actually let me
business.
spend a little bit of money. So, yeah, you got to support the small businesses. There you go. All right. So one of the other things that we have to support are viewers like you. So I know a number of you are outside. You guys love taking sunset and sunrise pictures. And I want to thank you so much for doing that, because over the next couple of weeks, we are actually going to be trying to find the best places for sunrises and sunsets here in Northeast Ohio. I want to thank one of our viewers, Diane. She took this picture last night of a very gorgeous sunset over at Euclid Beach Park. Another one of our viewers, Sharon, over in Willoughby, took this picture as well. So if you see something interesting tonight, you know what? I do think we are going to have a very beautiful sunset right around 7:45. Snap a photo of it and you can upload it to the WKYC app. It's the second option there. It goes directly to me within just a minute or so. All right, as far as temps right now across the region, we're sitting pretty mild over in Akron, 88 degrees. 87 down in Canton. We have a stationary front that basically is sitting right over Northeast Ohio. Can you pretty much tell where it is? Yeah, if you guessed where it is, it's basically right in between where that cool air and that warm air is. That cooler air is much more on the Sandusky side of it. Doppler radar right now, even though some of us are seeing a little bit of cloud cover, we're not seeing anything in terms of precipitation. That green that you see popping up there, that's just some ground clutter. That is not any precipitation. There is a lot more precipitation to our west that is moving over not only Denver. They actually had snow, friends. Yeah, I know. I cannot believe that one. But we are not going to be getting any snow in our area. Matter of fact, the good part about what's going to happen as soon as a cold front comes through tomorrow is we're going to end up seeing those dew points go down, and that means we are going to see less humidity. One of the other things that we are going to see later on tonight in some parts of our region is going to be an uptick in some of the patchy fog. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. So later on tonight, we're going to be dipping down into the mid-60s, and overnight we will see just a little bit more cloud cover develop. I think some of you will start out with partly cloudy skies, and there is a very baby chance, I'm talking about less than a 20% chance tomorrow at seeing a pop-up shower. I think the majority of you will remain dry, and we'll see temperatures top out tomorrow likely in the mid-70s. If you're looking over at Progressive Field tonight, the Indians are playing the Royals. Should be a good one for you. They're going to top out over there around 76 degrees and partly cloudy skies. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, so 73 for tomorrow and then 72 for Friday. And then things slowly go up for the weekend, but that's when we'll see our next chance for some rain showers as well. High temperature on Saturday of 81 degrees. Jay?
All right, Jason, looks good. Check your Twitter feed. I just sent you my favorite sunset picture of the summer.
Yes!
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Baker Mayfield's bold prediction about the upcoming season. Betsy, I think we're going to like it.
I certainly hope we will.
I hope so.
If we don't, he's got some big issues coming this way, I think. Of course,
You're
all
right
of us will
about
just
that.
throw our hands up like, here we go again. And also, here we go again. But it's a story that we keep pounding on because we want to make sure that you know. Is it allergies or is it COVID? When it comes to symptoms you may be having, we're going to help you separate the two when we come back. time now to see what's clicking in Cleveland. Jay filling in for Stephanie today. So Jay, what's clicking?
Well, I can tell you that this allergy and cold season has a lot of people convinced that their symptoms are really COVID-19 related. The Cleveland Clinic is doing all of us a service. They put together a guide, and what it will do is help us tell the difference between allergies and COVID symptoms. First, they say to check for a fever. It's very rare to get a fever with allergies or a cold. If you don't have a fever and you're not having a difficult time breathing or suffering from diarrhea, then it is likely allergies that you're suffering from, or perhaps a cold. Allergy sufferers are encouraged to start taking that medication as soon as possible. And of course, Cleveland clicking on the Browns, which open their season Sunday at the Baltimore Ravens. And Baker Mayfield is more than ready to get this thing started. He told reporters today he's going to prove he's much better than what we saw last year when his completion percentage, touchdowns, and quarterback rating all went down, while his interceptions rose to the second most in the NFL. He also said he is not using the lack of coaching continuity as a crutch by saying, quote, "It could be an excuse if you used it, but that's not what I'm doing here. We're going to focus on this year and what we can do, and that is the ultimate goal," end quote. And I, Betsy, for one, cannot wait until Sunday. I'm going to have a lot of questions answered right away.
I'm excited to see the team this year.
I am too. I can't wait.
Get everybody back out and get my orange and brown back on. It's
There we
gonna
go.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is back. Well, one thing we want to clarify, earlier in the show, we told you about an additional COVID cases at Hopkins Elementary School in Mentor. Just that school will be online for the next 2 weeks, not the entire district. We wanted to clear that up.
Just Hopkins Elementary. All right, well, still to come at 5:30. What Ohio could do better when it comes to getting back to work and school. We'll have more of my conversation with Ohio native and NBC contributor Dr. Vin Gupta.
Plus, Halloween canceled, Betsy. Can you believe that? Already, it has been canceled someplace. We're going to tell you where, and also we're going to give you a chance to weigh in on whether or not you would want your child going trick-or-treating this Halloween.
And later, the big changes coming to the Academy Awards that could change the types of movies we see winning Oscars.
I gotcha. So, mic check, 1, 2, 3. All right, it's 5:30. Time for a check of other stories making headlines. I have heels on, yeah.
I got you. Yep. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, I still got you here. I'm watching on the app over here.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Welcome back to the program. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. We're halfway through the show with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. So we know Brown season starts Sunday. They are at the Baltimore Ravens. And then next Thursday, they open the home portion of their schedule when they host the Cincinnati Bengals. You'll watch that game right here on 3 News. A lot of people have been wondering, okay, so the Browns get to allow a small percentage of fans, about 6,000 fans in for the game. I started thinking, well, wait a minute, why not the Indians? So I reached out today. I called my good buddy Curtis Danberg over with the Tribe, and he explains it this way. They're so late into the season, they have just one homestand remaining. And also, when you do the math on the percentages of the fans they would be allowed to have in, you're talking about 1,200 fans. And Curtis brought up a great point. How in the world do you decide which 1,200 gets in? Then you have staffing issues. And then, and this was big too, most likely the baseball playoffs will be moved to a bubble location, so we won't have playoff games here in Cleveland anyhow. So if you're wondering, like many have been, wait, the Browns get fans, the Indians don't? That's basically why. It's just timing. The Browns were able to do it at the start of their season. The Indians were not.
Yeah, so at least we can see them on TV.
Yes.
Every little bit counts.
It does.
At least we have that, certainly. All right, well, today's top talker is the challenges that our state faces when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. Not just talking about Brown Stadium, not just talking about Progressive Field, but how do we get people back to work and school safely? I talked to Dr. Vin Gupta about where Ohio is missing the mark.
What I would say in Ohio that there's not enough of is a focus on innovation, on pushing the envelope on the latest scientific advances when it comes to testing, when it comes to high quality masking, so that we can get school districts open and open safely. You know, part of the concern here is how do you keep these school districts open? And it's not just spot testing on day 1 of school, it's repeat testing. And what you're seeing across the country are innovations with respect to spit saliva testing, cheap tests that we can scale really cheaply, but for the entire state. We should be having those conversations. We should also be having conversations about how do we keep the classroom healthy. We're just not having enough of those. I would love school districts across the state to be focusing on issues that, for example, the Columbus School District has been focusing on, which is ventilation. We know even despite masking and hand hygiene and distancing, that if you're in a claustrophobic, poorly ventilated classroom, let's say in a basement or with windows that barely open up, that COVID-19 can find a way. So we need to make sure that classrooms in school districts are maximally ventilated. And if it's just not possible to do it, then those schools should not be opening up, or they need to be thinking about alternative arrangements.
Well, besides wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, apparently it's ventilation, ventilation, ventilation. It is absolutely the key for workplaces and schools of all kinds. Now, he'd like to see Ohio's school districts talk more about adding shields for teachers and staff in addition to masks. He says that method is being used in Southern California to stop transmission. Now, as far as transitioning kids from online learning back into regular classrooms, Dr. Gupta says the district should come up with testing protocols. First, he says saliva tests are one thing that should be considered.
That was interesting. It was very interesting, particularly the ventilation part.
Right.
We've talked so much about everything else.
Density. I mean, you're on a plane with people. That's where the transmissions happen fast first, so they fix that problem. If you're outside, it's not as much of a problem. So it's all about the density of the air around you. And if you have a lot of people in a small space, you have a high density of people, you have a higher chance of getting it.
I wonder how's our ventilation, you think?
Our ventilation is good. It's just a matter of the air handlers. So they're looking even at possibly putting UV instruments in air handlers. To kind of sanitize the air as it goes through. Obviously,
not a bad
there's
idea.
A huge expense involved in that, but it's something.
Okay, well, I feel more informed. That was good stuff. It is 4 minutes past the bottom of the hour, and that means it is time to get a check on other stories making headlines. And for that, we go to Laura Queso. She is standing by in the newsroom. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Jay. Well, investigative reporter Bob Woodward of Watergate fame says President Trump told him in a series of taped interviews that he knew the virus was far deadlier than the flu. At the same time, he downplayed the coronavirus threat in public. Now, the president indicated that he did not want to cause panic. The Washington Post reported the story today based on taped interviews for a major new book from Woodward due out next week. City officials in Lorain today announced they'll be the first city in Lorain County to provide hazard pay for safety forces who are working during the coronavirus pandemic. The extra pay provides $500 a month for police and $600 a month for firefighters through the end of the year, backdated to March. The city is paying the extra money using $900,000 of $3.2 million provided by the CARES Act. Brandon Simmons dives into how it came together. That's coming up for you at 6 o'clock. The holiday video game sales rush will start with Microsoft's new Xbox. The company announced its new Xbox Series X console today. It will launch November 10th for $499. This comes a day after the company announced a lower-cost Series S console for $299. That comes out the same day. So we're already talking about holiday shopping, Jay.
Yeah, I know. It's just around the corner.
Yeah.
And by the way, the prices for the Xbox, they always go up. It's incredible. But the technology, it is insane. Laura, thank you very much. We will see you 24 minutes from now when you and Russ join us for What Matters Most at 6.
Sure thing.
Well, here's a question. Could Halloween be next on the cancellation list? In California, Los Angeles County has already banned trick-or-treating this year because, of course, the coronavirus. The ban also includes Halloween parties, carnivals, and haunted houses. However, they're not killing all of the fun. Pumpkin carving is allowed. Well, thank goodness for that. Right? I mean, wow. You can also have costume contests if everybody is socially distanced properly, and the kinds of parades and drive-through attractions that we're used to seeing throughout this time are fair game. No ban like that in Ohio has come up yet, but our interactive poll question is asking you today, will you let your child trick-or-treat this year? And Betsy, 2 in 3 are saying either no or not sure. 35% are saying, yeah, it's still on the table. So another big event that I know kids look forward to each and every year looks like it may be in danger too.
I'll tell you why this is happening. Because I actually have Halloween off this year and would be able to go trick-or-treating and do the whole thing with my kids. I'm the reason this is happening, obviously. No, I have to tell you, as a mom, I'm kind of on the fence right now. My plan as of right now is not to change. We're going to plan on going. Maybe we sock the candy away for a few days and don't let them touch it.
That's it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
And wash hands, mask up. I mean,
wear gloves.
Well, hopefully people handing anything out or setting it out would have gloves on.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely like you got to think through it a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. It's forced us to rethink just about everything that we're doing. Okay, in today's Show Us Something Good, earlier we told you about more people heading to the dentist during the pandemic, and that's not fun for anyone. So a dentist and his wife out west adopted this adorable little dog named Kismet. It's their dental therapy dog, which, by the way, Betsy, I think is a terrific idea.
Yes.
Wonder where the name came from. The little Chihuahua is toothless, but brings smiles to countless patients' faces.
I love that dog. Look how sweet
I
that
do
is.
too. And Betsy, it's one of those ideas that when you hear it, you immediately ask, why haven't we been doing this for decades? Because dogs, I mean, you know the impact they have on travelers, on the elderly. They really do have a calming effect.
Yep.
And where are we more anxious than in the dental chair?
I think I broke a dental chair once going, no. So, yeah, I mean, I think anything you could do to help calm down. There's, stuffed animals and all kinds of other stuff that you can try and distract yourself with.
I listen to music, they'll all offer you the headphones,
Yeah.
and I find that helps me quite a bit because
as long as the dog doesn't move, I'm fine. If that dog moves, forget it. You're out of here. Sorry. We need to focus.
Betsy, with you, I'd be worried about the dog's health. You may squeeze the life out of that poor little thing. It's a good idea, though, anyhow. Cool story.
Yeah. Well, next for us, everybody, 2 of the most popular shows on cable are coming to an end. The double shocker is next in your pop break.
Jason, what's going on outside?
Hey there, Jay. Well, overall today was a decent day. We saw a little bit more cloud cover, a little bit of sun, but there is going to be a change on the horizon that is going to include more fall-like weather and cooler weather. I'll explain why that's going to be happening after the break.
All right, we're going to get another check of the weather forecast. As far as this humidity goes, Jason, things are supposedly going to be getting better, but it's been pretty gnarly out there.
You know what? I actually like the humidity. I love summer. My wife loves summer. You know what? I get to show off the summer body, which is, you know, since the COVID-13 is a little bit more, you know. But, you know, I know a number of people in Northeast Ohio just kind of like, yeah, we welcome in, you know, more weather. So let's talk about these temperatures right now. Many of you are sitting in the 80s across the region, including those of you south of downtown Cleveland, including Akron checking in at 88 degrees, 86 over in Canton. You may notice that it looks very different towards the lakeshore as well as areas west of there. And that's all because we have a stationary front that pretty much is doing nothing. Hence the reason why it's a stationary front. As far as visibilities go around Northeast Ohio, things are looking okay. They're down to about 3 miles here in downtown Cleveland, but later on tonight, there is a slight risk at seeing some patchy fog develop around our area. So if you are going out tonight, just make sure that you maybe add about an extra 5 or 10 minutes and you're careful there on the roadways. Doppler radar, things are looking pretty good across the region. We got a lot of moisture to our west, and you may notice some of the white stuff. Yep, that is all over in the Denver area, where it is amazing. On Monday, they basically were at 90 degrees. A massive front came through and they topped out in the upper 30s. We are not going to get that cool of weather, but we are going to see a little bit of moisture build as this system tries to make its way into our area. The good news is once a cold front comes through over the next 24 to 36 hours, we are going to say goodbye to that humidity, and you'll notice that the dew points are slowly going to start trickling down into the 50s, and then by this time next week, we are talking about dew points only in the 40s. National Design on hour-by-hour forecast. For the most part, things will be around the partly cloudy side across the region. There are 1 or 2 spots that may end up seeing just a quick shower tomorrow, but I'm expecting that the majority of you are going to remain dry. The farther west that you are, the more likely that you may end up seeing just something briefly come over the lake, but I think overall tomorrow is going to be a decent day. The Indians are playing at Progressive Field. Starts in about 25 minutes or so, and I'm expecting temperatures to be in the mid-70s and partly cloudy skies. Here's a look right now at your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. So talked about that cooler air, 73 for tomorrow, 72 for Friday. Then we slowly creep up just for one day, 81 degrees on Saturday, but we do have an afternoon rain shower chance, and then those showers should be out of here by Sunday afternoon. Jay?
All right, Jason, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Right now, you hear the music. That means it's time for your daily dose of pop culture news. Kiara Cotton has today's Pop Break.
Sad news for fans of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The iconic show is coming to an end after 20 seasons and 14 years on air. Kim Kardashian broke the shocking news Tuesday night on Instagram in a long post, thanking fans for their love and devotion over the years. The announcement came as a major surprise to fans, with many wondering what caused the sudden end. Whatever the reason, Kim says the final episodes will air in 2021. And major changes are coming to the way that the Oscars consider films for the annual awards ceremony. The Academy has added diversity requirements in the Best Picture category, with the goal being to better reflect the diversity of the movie-going audience. Things like sex, race, and physical disabilities will all be considered when looking at a film. And the hope is that this will help to make the awards more inclusive than they have been in past years. The new approach will take effect in 2024. In a shocking turn of events that no one had on their 2020 bingo card, Tiger King's Joe Exotic has reportedly written a 257-page letter to President Donald Trump asking for a presidential pardon. The Tiger King is currently in prison for a murder-for-hire plot against his nemesis, Big Cat Rescue's Carol Baskin, as well as 17 other crimes. In the letter, Exotic asked Trump to waive the typical 5-year wait time for a pardon and to be my hero, please. The president previously said he will look into a pardon for the Tiger King, but hasn't said anything officially. Good luck with that one. And The Walking Dead is officially ending its run. The AMC show will conclude with a supersized final season, 24 total episodes that will debut in 2022. Not a great day for fans of long-running shows.
Yeah, not really. Betsy, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself Thursday nights now. I don't even know if that's what night it airs, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I have no idea. I just took a stab in the dark.
I'm sure Tracy will have a few ideas.
I don't think she's ever seen an episode either. I don't know. What are folks going to do that show is leaving the air? That's been wildly popular for over a decade. Did you ever watch?
No.
Me neither.
Haven't seen it.
And I feel we're both better for it.
I'm just not cool. Let's face it.
Yeah, well, if that's what it takes to be not cool, put me in the not cool
I
camp.
can tell you what's been happening on Sesame Street. I can tell you what's been going down on Scooby-Doo, but
yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, well, there's famous, and then there's TikTok famous. Our newest meteorologist, Matt Standridge, shows us the ropes. Wait till you see this.
Welcome back to What's New. Betsy, do you have the TikTok?
No.
You have that on your phone?
It's TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Well, it has 800 million active users worldwide, and it is the top downloaded app in the Apple App Store. And despite the recent news that the U.S. government may actually ban it, for most of us, TikTok is just a place to escape, watch the latest challenge or dance trend, or maybe even try it ourselves.
All right, so the newest member of the WKYC family just so happens to also be a rising TikTok star. Meteorologist Matt Standridge has almost 260,000 TikTok followers. We sent Mike Polk to chat with him about his move to Cleveland and even got him to spill some secrets about how you can become the next social media sensation.
The moon is the only light we'll see.
My name is Matt Standridge. I'm going to be one of the meteorologists on the team with Betsy and everyone else. I'm from Arkansas, one of our sister stations.
Matt's coming to us with expertise as an AMS certified meteorologist, experience as a storm chaser, and something a little more specific.
My main expertise is in hail and trying to figure out where the hail is, how big the hailstones are.
Well, you seem like young to have already had experience, and by that I mean that you look like the cast of a Disney show. And that's great. You're actually bringing something interesting to the team that I'm not sure that we have. You have a huge TikTok following.
He has more than 6 million likes on something that started out as a dare.
I thought I will never download TikTok. I thought I was too old for TikTok, right? But my wife kind of dared me to try a TikTok account. I said, okay. Eventually I downloaded it and I didn't know what to do at first. I started doing weather TikToks. And so I would try to make the weather fun, interesting, kind of exciting.
Whoa! That was so cool! Hey, Dad, did you see that?
Matt's most popular video has more than 3 million likes.
Someone else's la 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 lunch. Lunch, 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 lunch. Just saying.
So, what's the secret to internet success and millions of likes?
Just be yourself. Figure out what your niche is. You know, what are you good at? Not everyone gets to get a meteorology degree and kind of focus on weather. And so that's kind of my niche. I have people who are connecting with me who are in middle school, high school, all the way up to 60 or 70 years old that are all interested in the weather. I would find your niche because you just want to be who you are. And the more authentic you are, I think people recognize that. People can tell that you're passionate and they're just kind of drawn to it.
Now, Matt's bringing his passion and sunny personality to Cleveland, along with his new wife, Reagan, who makes a cameo on Matt's TikToks from time to time. He's pretty excited for a good old-fashioned Northeast Ohio snowstorm. They don't get much snow in Arkansas.
Total for 3 years. You want to guess how much snow we got?
How much?
1.5 inches. Total, 3 years.
Wow. That's hard to build an igloo out of.
It is.
That. Are you east side or west side? That's important.
Ooh, I heard that's a big deal, so I cheated and I went downtown.
Nice move. You're going Switzerland.
That's exactly right.
Yep, nobody can get mad at you.
Switzerland.
All right, Matt, now wait a minute. If you thought you were too old to be on TikTok, Jay and I are definitely out.
Right, I was so surprised. I thought it was mostly high schoolers, college kids have been, out of college for a little bit. I thought, nah, too old, but tried it out, it worked.
All right, so one tip that you can give everybody right now, like just the first time they try and post a TikTok, what do you think is a good thing to start with?
Yeah, I think adding captions to your videos, kind of walking through what you're trying to show people or tell people. And here's kind of another little secret one. It works all the time. If you put at the top of your video, say something like, hey, wait till the end, they'll watch your whole video. And the longer they watch your video, the engagement goes up and the algorithm works better for you. So it's kind of cheating, but the tip.
Maybe we should do that with the show, Jay. Watch till the end. We'll put it on the screen all the time.
That's
watch
all
till
you
the
need.
end.
All you
Hold
need.
on.
We do that every day, Betsy.
We do. Yeah.
What to watch for
That's
is at
true.
the end of our show.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. We'll see you coming up on What Matters Most in just a couple of minutes.
Welcome, Matt. We'll see you. So, speaking of, our wonderful way that we wrap up the show, it's coming up. A goat commandeers a police car. I'm not making this up. It's your worth the watch, and it's next. It's a true story, not made for TV, Betsy. You got to watch till the end.
I hope it's Ohio.
Really? I'm asking. Okay. All right. Yeah, I do. Hi, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Ohio confirms 973 new cases of coronavirus today.
Thank you. I gotcha. Good evening. I'm Laura Queso, and I'm Rich Mitchell. We begin tonight with the numbers.
Mic check, Monica. Hello, hello, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Okay, we wrap it up with our Worth the Watch. That means you watch till the end of the show, Bets. It takes us to Georgia today. This is so good. An uninvited guest inside a sheriff deputy's patrol car. The deputy got out of her car, and then a random goat, not making this up, jumps inside. Her body cam video shows how she continually tried to get the stubborn goat out. It refused. It started eating papers. The whole thing just turned into a big mess. The goat did eventually get out, and the deputy was not harmed.
Tail. It's air conditioned in there. Of course the goat wants to stay in there.
We're out of time. We're back tomorrow at 5. We hope you are too.
What matters most with Russ and Laura starts right now.